You had a good sleep on the weekend.
Yeah, it was all right. Can't complain. I can't even see the chat actually. Give me a sec. 1 sec,
It's always good when your side's winning, eh?
bro. Honestly, it was so funny because after I did the United podcast, I remember saying on the podcast, I said to him, you might not, you guys will be lucky to score a try, and he was not.
He wasn't taking it.
He was not happy with that, and to see how the team
Yeah.
performed, it was remarkable.
Have you reached out to him since?
I have. He's doing all right. He's happy. But yeah, so we're live. So
Oh, yep.
hello and welcome to another episode of the Kennel podcast live stream. It's a glorious week. The doggies smashed the Knights once again, 32-2. I think the revenge is complete. The doggies fans have been vindicated, and we're very, very happy that things have gone the way they have been. How you doing, Debo?
Yeah, I'm good, man. That was probably one of the best performances of the year to keep them to 2, playing away from home. I think it was their best performance, probably in their top 5 best performances in the last 7 years. You don't think so?
Look, I think, to be honest, it was one of those performances where we didn't have, kick out, we didn't have Burton, we didn't have Crichton. Fox goes off, after 30 minutes, after he's already scored a couple of tries.
And you're away.
And we, our heads didn't go down. We didn't feel like we were going to lose at any point. I thought the way the boys responded was just remarkable. I can't even describe how happy I was just to see them continuously fighting.
They're on a roll.
Oh, man, it's fantastic. And, we're in a clump of, 5 or 6 teams that are fighting for the top 8, and we're all sort of on the same number of points. But I think if you compare us to all the other teams, we're well on top when it comes to both defense and attack. And just before we go on, if you are new to the podcast, if you haven't seen us before, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We have some great guests coming up over the next couple of weeks. You don't want to miss what we've got coming up. We've got so much content, so many things happening. Please be sure, just like the video. It really just bumps us up in the algorithm, and subscribe. It helps a lot. So thank you so much for all your support. Now, up the dogs. Let me tell you, we've scored. It's 78 points to 14 cumulatively across both games that the Dogs have versed the Knights. And just reiterating to what I was saying to Debo earlier, I had a podcast with Lincoln from the United, and I said that the Dogs were going to win 13 plus, and I've said that twice, and twice I was right. And he said, the Knights were going to win 13 plus. I said they would be lucky to score a try. Lo and behold, I was right. The only points they got was from a penalty kick in the first 5-10 minutes. And, we had so much adversity as a team to overcome. We played 60 minutes with only 12 players. And actually, as an interesting statistic, random stats guy put it up. The last team to keep a team tryless while having 2 sin bins was way back in 1999 when it was a completely different game.
Who was even the sides?
I don't even know, but I don't even really remember who the teams were. But 25 years ago. Another very, very interesting statistic is the last time the Bulldogs had such a good points differential, they made the grand final in 2014. So for all those guys who are still subscribed to the conspiracy that the Dogs make the grand final in every 2014, 2004,
Mate,
what?
Can
it's
I
still
say,
going.
you guys you've knocked off some of the top sides. You should have knocked over a few more. So why not?
Look, to be honest, like the way it's playing out is any team can make it. Right, it's not as though like there are some teams that are clearly going to blow everybody away. The Sharks were far and away the best team for the first 10-11 rounds, and then they've lost 2 on the trot. And then you look at the Storm, who have been okay but haven't put teams away as we're usually used to seeing from them. Yep. So it's just one of those things, man. It's very, very interesting. I think to see how it's all playing out.
I think the goats will be separated from the sheep after the 3rd state of origin. That's where the business end of the season comes. And any teams that are currently still in top 8 contention, I think we'll see them fall off. Even the ones that are fighting for a top 4, I think you'll see them fall off and start sliding down into the bottom end of the top 8. So yeah, it's important to get the wins in the next few weeks.
100%.
You know, from Canterbury's perspective, you're in such a good position. They got a Parramatta, maybe a resurgent Parramatta. We'll find out anyway. I hope not anyway.
No one wants to see a resurgent Parramatta.
Then I think you guys got the Tigers again after that.
No, actually, after that we have the Roosters.
Roosters, all right.
And then we have the Sharks. So it's actually a very big, very testing period.
If you get the biscuits this week, he's have hit the acceptable level of that 4. Remember the 6-game period, including
that's right.
Penrith.
Yeah, that's right.
So you've hit the 4 out of 6, which we said would be acceptable. Although you should have, in my opinion, it's still unacceptable. They lost to Canberra. So if they had 5, they had won that Canberra one, which they put in their worst performance of the year, I thought. Even though they had lost by a solitary try, they would be probably sitting 6th or 5th, and they'd be sitting really pretty. You know, going in against the Roosters, who are coming to a tough period. They'll be missing some players for State of Origin. And then a Sharks that look like they're a bit shot at the moment. So good time to get them, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a very, very interesting period that you mentioned.
I think the Dogs should also ask permission. Adokar won't be playing Origin because of his injury. Unfortunately, he's too good of a player not to be playing State of Origin, I feel. But I think the Dogs should probably ask Madge, if he's not going to choose Birdo in the 17, then just let him play that weekend. Look, he's got away with it. It's good. He's fresh for this week. It worked in your favour, I reckon.
Look, to be honest, my thoughts on that is, look, it happens to every club. I know it's happened to Burton now 3 times in the last this series and the last, but I don't like.
That's why I'm pointing it out.
I don't think it's not that he's not a big loss. It's just that, well, if we want to be a great team moving forward, we're going to have more and more players in State of Origin. And if you have Burton there, if Burton does get activated as 18th man, or if, Madge pulls the switch in at the last minute, I'm all for that. And look, we performed very, very well without them. And I think if we had them, right, I think we put 50 on the night. Like, looking back at it in hindsight, if we had, Burton, Kickow, Crichton, and Fox didn't get injured, we put 50 on them. So, all things considered, I'm happy for Burton to be in and amongst those players. It teaches him leadership. Like, he's amongst some really, really great guys. Like, now he's amongst Teddy, but before he was, he's around his mates, Luai, Crichton, Hines is there. And Jake Drabovic is there, so it's like I don't really mind that. Like, I'm not that bitter about it. You know what I mean? I think the media is just doing a bit of a beat up. Obviously, the team would have loved to have Burton there, but they
got the biscuits, so that's all that matters.
They got the biscuits quite overwhelmingly.
And the game's on Monday as well for this round.
Yeah, so it's a Monday at 4 p.m. But we'll get to all that. I want to just give a quick review of the Knights, the Dogs and Knights game. I thought the Knights started okay. I didn't think they were that we thought they'd be blown off the park. But let me tell you, the Bulldogs, at no point did I feel the Knights were.
Did it feel like they were even in the game at all? Not from probably after even when that sin bin happened. It didn't even look like the Knights both. It didn't even look like they would ever score.
Jackson, Hastings, and Cocker they looked a little bit clueless out there. And to be honest, I think Sonny Bill on the Nine commentary team, he was saying after the game, it wasn't that the Bulldogs were anything special. It was that the Knights didn't play. I actually disagree wholeheartedly. I think that the Bulldogs were.
How dare you, Sonny?
How dare you?
How dare you, Sonny? You've hurt Red.
No, but I thought that it was the Bulldogs' defense that absolutely destroyed them. Like, they tried. I thought they tried really, really hard. And even just to give you an example, like that Preston tackle on Greg Marju, right? He gets the
great tackle.
Hastings kicked the ball across the field. Marju gets it, runs over Toby Sexton, which I thought was actually a good attempt against someone like against Greg Marju to slow him down. And then Preston just comes out of nowhere, and it was deliberate. It wasn't as though he was just trying to make a desperate tackle. It was like, no, I'm going to go for the feet, take the legs out, and take him towards the sideline. And he did it perfectly. And I think that was sort of the nail in the coffin for the Knights. It deflated them. They were versing 12. They couldn't get across the line, even when, you know, they were. It was a miracle that you know, it would take a miracle to stop them from scoring against from Greg Marju's side, and then we just blew them out of the park. They could not do anything. Their forwards could not run over ours. Like Bailey Hayward. All right, the guy's not flashiest, but he throws very, very good passes, has very good footy IQ, and the guy defends like a dog. The guy defends like he's just like, I'm smaller than you, but I'm going to take you down. It was just in and amongst the legs of all these big forwards, you know, like Leo Thompson, against every other team, I feel, he's making, you know, yardage, he's getting over the advantage line. Against the Dogs, it's almost like they nullified all their forwards. It's like their forwards couldn't run, right? And I know, look, that loss was probably a lot on the halves. They couldn't set anything up, but the whole team was frustrated, and you could see that what they were trying. Like even that try-saving tackle by Hopboy, man. For me, when a
on
guy's,
debut,
on debut, you know, has played 40 minutes. Is, you know, it's not easy to play 40 minutes of first grade, especially in your first game. And he makes that tackle where he just knocks the ball out of Dylan Lucas's hand. For me, it's very much typifying or typical of what the Bulldogs are building. And I want to talk about something, and I want you guys to give me what you think, or tell me what you think. You know, when they went into the sheds after the game, they were interviewing Josh Curran, and they were like, you know, what did you guys do when you went down to 12? And he said they've got this thing called hungry dogs. This call, they've got hungry dogs. When we go down to 12, or when we face adversity, we embrace it, and we've got the mentality of hungry dogs. And I thought, for me, that is so brilliant, because it really shows what the Bulldogs are about. It's like, no, adversity is not gonna let us, not gonna get to us. We're going to attack. We're going to fight, and fight they did. You know, last year I think the Knights put on. Like, if it was the same team as last year, the Knights give us a shellacking again. But this year was like, no, you guys aren't even getting a single try on us. And that defensive resolve was there for 80 minutes. It wasn't just a resolve for 5 or 10 minutes.
Did you guys lose the for and against by 2 points overall?
No, we lost it by 40 points overall.
No, I think 66-0 last year.
But that was only from the one game. But then they beat
there was a second?
Yeah, 48-6.
I forgot about that.
They destroyed us.
I was about to say 78-14 and 66-0 revenge complete, but 2 points.
I mean, yeah, but they came off the back of a bye. They came off the back of a bye. They had 4 wins in a row.
You got the last laugh.
And look, you're only as good as your last game.
You got the last laugh.
I think you're only as good as your last game. And the Dogs showed that even without, I would say, arguably their 4 biggest names, we did very well. And look,
where's Monday's game at? So I'm just always
getting... It's in Accor.
Oh, Accor.
Yeah, it'll be in Accor.
I think 35, I reckon.
35,000
plus. 30 plus easy.
Look, on a public holiday, it should be good weather.
I guarantee a CommBank would have been a sellout. Accor's going to, 35, 40K.
But that game at CommBank would have been such a beautiful game to watch.
Oh, the atmosphere is crazy.
But, you know, the Eels are a bit of a resurgence. Dogs are playing well. It's just going to be such a great game.
Dogs are the resurgent ones. Eels got their players back. About to announce the signing of, hopefully, Trent Barrett for a 5-year deal.
You really want them to get more wooden spoons, don't you?
That'll be hilarious. You know, I read this stat. I think they once won 6 or 7 wooden spoons in a row. Parramatta. So when St. George was doing it, it's 11 in a row. Incidentally, Para was winning, I think, 7 I think it was 7 or 8. Check the stats, guy. No one's got time on their hands. Go check. Mate. I think in that 11 in a row, they won like 8 out of 8 wooden spoons. So St. George was just...
We hate on Parramatta so much on this podcast. We're not going to get any opposing team.
They hold a world record of wooden spoons.
Oh, my God.
You know, so how come they didn't get thrown out of the comp? I would have thrown them out if I was the administrator.
Look, I think they're a great team to have. You may not
throw
like
them
it,
out.
But...
Wentworthville.
So, look, I just want to read some of the comments that have been left. So, Brad Cambridge is saying, woohoo, the Hutcho experiment is dead at 7 for the Dogs. I agree. As long as Toby Sexton is performing the way he's performing, I don't think any other 7 has a sniff. And let me tell you, if he's performing this way and he can build this form into his game as consistently, he will be the Bulldog 7 for a very long time. Look, I don't have insider information, but he's doing what is needed from a 7. And I want to talk about the game specifically now. So I just want to get into something, and I want to point something out about Toby Sexton that I absolutely loved in the game. So one of the things that I noticed this game was we outkicked the Knights by 400 meters. So we had 900 kicking meters to their 450 odd.
Huge.
Yeah, big, right? But one of the things that I thought really stood out was Toby Sexton was kicking the ball and landing it on a dime. He absolutely took that David Armstrong, that young fullback, out of the game completely.
Yeah, Armstrong was. He's been electric, and then
he scored
comes
5
this
tries.
game. It's like, he had his worst game in his career. Probably won't even have a bad game ever as that again.
Not like that, but see, when he kicked the ball, when Sexton was kicking the ball, he was landing at half a meter or a meter out from the try line, right? And this was suffocating any ability for David Armstrong to get a roll on, to get a run in broken play, and the line speed was just as good. So it was a good kick. Followed up by good line speed. That is a combo I don't think the Bulldogs have had for maybe 7 or 8 years. Good kicking with a good line speed. That is something that we have lacked for a very long time. Now, that is the difference, I think, between Hutchison and Sexton. Hutchison had a very good game, mind you. I thought he did his role perfectly. He gave a good account of himself. But Sexton is, I feel like every game he's going to show us a little bit more about why he's the number 7 for the Bulldogs. What do you guys think? Is Sexton improving week on week? Because I think he actually improved from the Dragons game, especially because he didn't have Burton there. Crichton wasn't there. I thought he led very, very well at 7, which is what you want.
I mean, he's won 2-32. Like, it's a glowing
Glowing
assessment.
We're averaging about 36 points a game,
Phenomenal.
38 points a game with Sexton at half this year. I don't know what it's going to be like, over a longer
I'm just
period.
interested. I just want Monday. Oh, actually, I won't be here on Monday.
Yeah, these guys. Yeah, our man Dibbo's going to be overseas, so he won't be here for the next few weeks. But we will have some really special guests hosting.
Some really good guests, yeah.
But what I will say,
The Eels have 14 wooden spoons and about 6 of them in a row.
Yep, so I was right.
yeah, so our producer Billy, I've told him to hook himself up to a mic for ages, but he's apparently his voice is too sexy for YouTube. The Eels have 14 wooden spoons, and they've won 6 wooden spoons in a row.
Told you it was on the money.
They were only beaten by the Magpies, Western Suburbs Magpies.
Probably they probably overtook them in the 80s and 90s because West Lodge won a shitload there.
Yeah, that's right. And look, I mean, good on the Eels for winning so many wooden spoons. But when I get back to it,
They won more. They won something. Both clubs combined don't even have that much. I think.
notable mentions, I think from the team was Connor Tracy. Connor Tracy is really showing his value for us at fullback, and not only is he doing it in attack, in positional play, in his average meters run, but I think his try assists have been fantastic this year. That one pass he gave to Preston for his first try when Preston was running a great line, that shows. I think that's from the past where he was a 5'8" previously, playing at fullback. His passing is very, very slick, and his timing is excellent. And he's like another ball player in attack. Is
that the only one you're giving special mention?
No.
What about the skin crawler, as somebody's referred to him?
Who's the skin crawler?
Reid Marnie.
So I'll get to Reid Marnie. Want to give
skin crawler.
Every week we mention. Every week we mention Jacob Kiraz, but he needs to be mentioned. Like that 10-minute period at fullback when Connor Tracy went off, bro, he attacked the ball. He took like 3 hit-ups a set, for the whole 10 minutes. He just did not stop.
I think he gets an adrenaline rush.
Absolutely.
The guy is it's like when a dog sees feeling this chemical release in his brain, you see the dog get excited. It's like the ball's coming to him. He's like,
some of those takes that he took,
he's just attracted to the ball.
He's such a good kid. Like, he's only 22. Can you imagine, like, if this guy continues to build his ability, where he will be? Like, honestly, I think if he continues in this same vein, I wouldn't be surprised if there are some injuries in the Blues. He's like a bolter. Honestly, this guy will be a bolter for the Blues even this year if there are injuries. Because I don't see another winger that would come in and do a job like Kiraz would. Because you imagine To'o Kiraz running at you from the ball, and then you've got Edwards or Tedesco also running back at you, and you're just like, you're going to get 700-800 meters or 600-700 meters out of these 3 on their own. Or, if you bring Edwards back in, it's remarkable. And, I hope Kiraz is a lifelong Bulldog, because this kid is very, very special. I have to call out Lipoi Hopoi. Played 38 meters, took 15 runs, 121 meters gained. Had something like 40 post-contact meters, and he saved a try. That Dylan Lucas one on debut. And he's been named again in the 17 for this week, which gives me so much happiness.
Wow.
Absolutely. Didn't take a single step back.
Played a half a game, no worries.
No worries.
That was in half a game.
Absolutely.
Wow. And
this was his first game. And to be honest, he was so good that Sam Hughes only played 15 minutes. That's not because Sam Hughes couldn't have performed, but Phil Gould was saying on Twitter that he's had a big a big few months in first grade.
Oh, he's been your leading front rower.
He's been
practically.
fantastic, and they just wanted to rest him. But look, Max King and
Deservedly
Josh
so.
Curran, bro, like. Honestly, I have no more words. These guys are no longer no-name forwards. You throw them in any team.
Who,
and
Josh Curran?
Josh Curran and
I
Max
think
King.
Josh Curran's definitely. Max King's already had the raps about it. Even Josh Curran, he's got some good
Bro,
signings.
he's absolutely killing it.
They got the support they needed. So, well, Max King anyway.
But now I have to talk about what people are describing him as, the skin crawler, or whatever you want to call him, Reed Marnie. This was, I think,
the rabid dog.
I think, Reed Marnie, this was his best game as a Bulldog. Maybe we can put a poll up. Was this, Reed Marnie's best game as a Bulldog? Had 3 try assists, was everywhere in defense. His kicking game was absolutely fantastic. Honestly, his kicking game was ridiculous. Like, he kicked early 3 or 4 times, multiple times. There was the 40-20 was on.
Might be onto something.
Right. I just like this is the money we need, and I think week on week he's growing not only as a player but as a leader. And last year I think he struggled with leadership a little bit, but
Look,
it was a tough year.
it was
a
man.
tough
Like,
year.
a lot of clubs would have came last, or practically a lot of clubs would have came last with all the injuries they copped, and
But the
they had
level,
a crazy injury toll.
the level of competitiveness in Marnie, the way that he is just frustrating players. And you know what? Like, a lot of people are saying that it's Marnie that's frustrating people, and it's Marnie that's doing this, Marnie that's doing that. I actually don't think people realize just how much all the teams have been getting frustrated by the whole team's defense. So the Knights and the Tigers and all that, they throw everything at you and they don't get anything out of you. And then Marnie comes in and just throws that word and it sort of tips them over the edge. It's not always necessarily Marnie that is the whole cause of the agitation, but he's the one that he's the straw that breaks the camel's back. Because the comment that he made to Saifidi that threw him over the edge was, mate, it's 30-2. Look at the score. And Saifidi just couldn't handle it, so he's headbutting him it's just like, bro, you're losing, you're getting smashed, just cop it. You know what I mean? Like,
So how many scalps does he have now?
he's got 3, man. He's got 3 or 4. So he's got Hedrington,
Oh, hang on a second.
Seyfarth.
Wait, is Hayrington playing this week?
No, he didn't play this week against the Dogs.
No, sorry, he didn't play. Sorry.
No, he didn't play
that's
against the Dogs.
So, I mean, last week, thought I say this week. So he didn't play?
Sorry?
He didn't play. Oh,
No,
what
he
a
didn't
miss.
play.
What
And
a miss.
I think that was I think the Newcastle coach knew that was a good decision. Brian Deep, I've already said, bro, Sexton is better than Hutch. And I'm not sure what more you want from me, bro. He is better than Hutch. Like, I've never doubted that.
Do you reckon he's recording that little bit of a segment?
I hope so.
Probably gets a satisfaction out of it. Guys attacked you.
He's just saying, we're just saying
Brian.
that about
That's not me. I'm sitting here, by the way. So
Yeah. I know. It's not you.
bloody hell. He's my name in his name somehow.
So one thing I wanted to discuss very quickly is what we've started to do is on the kennel.net.au, we've got a 321 thread. And what I'd like everybody to do when you have some time is go to the kennel.net.au after the game on Monday afternoon and give us your thoughts on who you thought the man of the match was, who was your next man up, so the 2 points, and then the 1 point was who's the final man up. So all we're doing is we're collecting some of that data, and that gives us the ability to, at the end of the year, come up with the fans' player of the year according to the votes that we collect. We wanted to do it early in the year. It just didn't align for us, but we've started to do it. And I have some very, very interesting statistics from last week. We collected hundreds of responses. So 27% voted that Jacob Preston was man of the match.
That's
right?
a good shout.
Jacob Kiraz had 25% of the
Wow.
vote, and Reed Marnie had 28% of the vote. Oh, sorry. Apologies. Sorry.
I was about to look at it.
Sorry. So 49.4% of people said that Preston was man of the match.
Yep.
Reed 30% had Reed Marnie as man of the match,
that's
and
80.
10% had Jacob Kiraz.
Oh, nice.
So the top 3 players in 3-2-1 were Jacob Preston, Reed Marnie, and Jacob Kiraz,
Nice.
according to the fans. And we had hundreds of responses across social media and the Kennel, and we'll be doing this every single week.
Awesome.
So look out for that. I'll share it on socials. I'll share it on on the kennel.net.au. And if you haven't also subscribed to us, please go give us a follow on Instagram, or just follow us on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, because we'll be sharing the survey there. It's really, really fun to get involved with. There'll be prizes coming as well as part of the survey. And what we'll do is we'll start collating all that data and start putting out week to week on social media. It's just going to take some time to build up. But once we get there, we're going to have so much interesting tidbits to share with you guys. Now, we also asked how would you rate the Bulldogs' performance overall? And more than 50% rated that as 9 out of 10 or above.
Oh, you know what? Because they were down to 12 men twice.
Yeah,
That's what really helped. And the fact they kept them scoreless. So it makes you wonder, and if they had their full complement of players as well. So it makes you wonder, will they hit 50 plus with, Simbins and also with the full complement?
And Josh Adokar,
That's what I mean.
I think Josh Adokar, if he stays on the field, we probably would have
4-5.
I reckon he would have scored at least a hat trick.
Or does he get to 7 tries again? Remember that? That was crazy.
But
wow. I don't think we'll see that again.
Yeah, it was good. Look, Fox
7.
was good. He was showing the energy. He's using his
7.
speed.
You just remind me. 7.
So that was quite interesting.
Sorry, can't get over it.
No,
7.
all good.
Anyway.
Now, we had 70% of people say that the Bulldogs' defense was a 10 out of 10 defensive effort. And look, I can't disagree with that. I thought it was a 10 out of 10 defensive effort.
Yeah, like some loser came and said, but they made more than 40 missed tackles. I'm like, yeah, they sort of scrambled well. A lot of those missed tackles probably would have been, they were short one, so they was probably sliding in defence. Had to miss some tackles just to shepherd the player one way.
Yeah, and look, to be honest, it shows that it doesn't matter how many missed tackles you have.
There's a system in place that can
There is a system in place. And you know what? We had 4 line breaks to 1. So even with all their missed tackles, they only managed 1 line break. One line break, right? With all those missed tackles. And so, at the end of the day, you think, what is the system there? Is it back yourself and play for your mates? Or is it try and be absolutely perfect with your statistics? Because you can play the statistics, but you'll still lose.
I reckon what Cam wants them... I reckon whatever Cam wants them to do, and it's good because nobody seems to work it out yet.
That's
from
right.
the opposition.
Yeah.
Just stick to that, and even if they make the finals, let's hope they do. I reckon don't change what they're doing. Try it out. I mean, it's your first foray. It's worked for you for the whole year. It's your first foray into the finals in about 7-8 years.
Look, how do you work out good defense? Like if you're a good defensive team, you're a good defensive team. That's really what it comes down to. And it's not rocket science. We're not doing some mad scientist stuff like this Hasler used to try and do. What we're doing is we know who we have. We know what players we've got, and what we're doing is we're playing to those
I
strengths.
heard that with your special guest on the next podcast, you're going to decipher the whole Des Hasler formula.
We will be talking about that in a little bit of depth. The next guest is going to be.
I went through your whole list, so that's on there. Wow, this will be good. I won't be on that episode, but I'll be an admirable watcher.
So be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, because our next guest is going to be an absolute cracker. You guys are it's going to be really, really good from a Bulldogs perspective, but also from an NRL fan perspective. It's going to be very interesting. This guy is a very popular, polarizing figure, but it'll be a great, great podcast.
I'll get to watch that on my flight before anyone. So
yeah, I'll share it with Dibbo first, because Dibbo's special. But it'll be great, and we're very, very much looking forward to that. Now, what we're going to talk about now is I want to discuss the teams for the Parramatta game. I want to discuss that game in a little bit.
Yeah, go for it. I'm actually just want to get there and rip in.
So the team named for the Eels and Dogs game is actually just before we do that, are there any other comments about the Knights game that you guys want to talk about? Anything else that you think we would have missed? Leave them in the comments below, and we'll sort of try and address them. But yeah, look, Paul Frederick has said, Marnie's the new grub. Do I think Marnie is the new grub? Look, I think so, but I don't think that's an issue or a bad thing necessarily. He's winning. That's what matters. Is he's doing what needs to be done to win, and that's all that matters. He's doing his job admirably, very, very well. He's leading from the front. He's made the most tackles in the competition, and I think it's fantastic. Brian Dibbs saying Skinny Zahe believes Preston is overrated, especially his performance against the Knights. Well, you know what? No one really cares what Skinny Zahe says.
Is that Melbourne? That is that Melbourne Storm fan again, eh?
Yes, he's that Melbourne Storm fan. But let me tell you, no one cares.
Look what they do. They send their little...
Preston, I'm telling you, Preston will debut for the Blues sooner rather than later, and he is a future captain. I don't care what anyone says. He's got the... Just the determination as a 21, 22-year-old in his second year of rugby league. He doesn't have second year syndrome. He's still playing incredibly well. And you know what? It is fantastic. And, you know, there are many players in the Dogs team that maybe people say wouldn't make any other starting NRL side, but we're also killing it as a team. So no one really cares about any other side. Now, onto the Parramatta Eels versus Bulldogs game. So this is the Kings... birthday game on Monday.
Not the Queen's birthday?
Nah.
I made the mistake of hit reply all to everyone at work saying,
well done.
You know, look, I think I've got to start my annual, like it rolls in after the Queen's birthday. And we have a few pommies at work, and they wrote back regrettably to inform you that the Queen hasn't been feeling well for a while now. Jeez, come on, man, your whole life. Bro,
those reply alls, they get you in some water.
The whole life you've known her as the Queen, you know.
It's a habit, bro. It's a hard habit.
It's a habit. Think of my dad, 70 years was just the Queen.
So Jack T's asking, we still backing Moran, right? Look, absolutely, we're backing Moran. One
bloody
subpar performance doesn't make a career, and Moran has held his own.
There wasn't much for him to do.
Pack. Yeah, really, to be honest.
You know, honestly, that's why I probably took a step back. It's the same thing with Sam Hughes. Like, when the going gets tough, people like Moran, it's like an adrenaline rush for him. So
they'll be there.
He becomes like the rabid dog, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, Curtis Moran will always bring the energy. Maybe sometimes he tries a little bit too hard, but you know what? It is what it is. It's not. He's excellent. He's playing excellent. He's playing off the bench.
Plus, they're playing short twice, 20 minutes. So
yeah,
he had a different sort of role.
Look, there's no way he brings the energy. He brings
100%.
He brings the defense. He brings the aggression. And yeah, you could see how upset he was with himself when he made those mistakes against the Knights.
Yep.
And so for me, it's like, well, how do you punish that? Ali Man saying, what a great round of footy. Look, we agree, brother. It was a great round of footy. Peter Bulldogs 01.
How you going, Peter?
How you doing, brother? Thanks for joining. Great round of footy. So let's get into it. It's pretty much the team is as named. So it's going to be Connor Tracy, Jacob Kiraz, Bronson Sherry, Stephen Crichton, Blake Wilson, Matt Burton, Toby Sexton is at 7. Yes, he is the Dog 7. Then you've got Max King, Reid Marnie, Sam Hughes, Jacob Preston, Jamin Salmon, Kurt Mann. On the bench, you've got Bailey Hayward, Josh Curran, Curtis Moran, and Lipoy. Hopoy is back on the bench.
I know, regrettably, you're missing 2 players there in Adokar and Kikau. But there's 3 guys, I reckon, that are key to your victory. Kiraz, and the other 2 I got is Sam Hughes and Max King. If your forwards can lay the platform against their forwards, because I know their forwards really want to try to get the upper hand on you guys. But if those 2 big men up front can contain the opponents in Regan Campbell-Gillard and Junior Paulo, and then obviously the damaging runs from the back from Kiraz, I think you guys will be well on to your way to probably about a 2 or 3 try victory. I actually got the Dogs winning by about that margin, to be honest. So, yeah, come on, boys.
Dogs 13 plus?
Yeah, I'd say about there, 12 to 14.
So I'll
take the win.
One of the things that I think is interesting to keep in mind is that the Bulldogs are now averaging only about 16 points a game against. So the only team that's better than us in defence right now are the 3-time premiers in Penrith, and they're averaging 15 points leaked a game. So our defence is right up there in terms of the average points scored for the Eels. It's only 20, right? And we're actually averaging more points scored than the Eels. We're averaging at 22 points this season, and we're only letting in 15. On averages, you would say that even with Moses and Gutho back, we're a better team now than we were obviously in round 1 when we played them. But we're also better than we were even 4 weeks ago. And even with Moses and Gutho back, I still believe that they will struggle to score many points against us. And if we can keep them to around 3 tries, we win comfortably. Because even against the Sharks, sure, they scored a lot of points, but they let in a lot of points.
Yeah.
And that is for them. That's a bit worrying. But the Sharks,
They seem rudderless without Nico Hines. Did you realise?
the Sharks
I mean, they have still good half in the halves pairing.
in Trindle and Atkinson, I thought
Yeah,
they
but
would
they
do a
just
lot
seem
better.
rudderless. Like, oh,
I think it's a whole team thing though. I don't think it's the Nico
They-
Hines
I just
factor.
feel like they played Parramatta back into form. I wouldn't even say they played them into form. Like, I've still got you guys winning this week anyway. So
I think our form has been quite irresistible in terms of defence.
the only thing is just complacency. You haven't shown. You've only had maybe the one or two slip ups. So he's pretty good with complacency. But I wouldn't want to be complacent against Parramatta.
Oh no,
If
this will be
this is
the
the
litmus
2
test.
points that are very important. It'll put you over the top into the top 8. And then if you can snag the next one out of the 2, and obviously ideally you want 2 out of 2, but if you can snag after that, the Sharks and the Roosters,
Yep.
if you can snag at least 1 out of the 2, you'd be really happy because this Parramatta game is well on their way to cementing a top 8. So even if you lose one of those other 2, you're still in the 8.
Look, if we get the 4 points next week, our points differential is actually better than all those teams that are in and amongst us.
Yeah.
So
Way better.
What that says for me is if we beat the Eels, we get 4 points. That elevates us right up there to potentially sort of being 5th or 6th quite comfortably.
I don't know what the Adelaide's looking at the moment. I've got 90 who's in the mix, but
4 points gets us up there and cements us in there.
yeah.
And then it's just about maintaining that aggression
Yeah,
moving forward.
You've already played most of the hard sides already.
We have, and now it's a lot easier.
Don't you
at a run.
lowly sides like the Tigers again and the Titans?
We do, but we also have some tough games coming up. I think there's for example, Manly comes out they're a bit difficult to.
I know what you mean, but I think you guys got less games against top 8 sides than everyone else. I think, or from last year's one anyway.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll have a look, but look, the Eels are an interesting one because obviously they've got Gutho and Moses back, which also unlocks Dill Brown. But the other one, the one interesting thing that I have is, I think their back line is very vulnerable. So I think Blaze Talangi, Sean Russell, Will Penasini, and Mike Azevo,
And they're very leaky.
they're very leaky when it comes to defense. I wouldn't have had Clint Gutherson at fullback after his injury. I would have kept Blaze Talangi there and put Clint in the centres. But look, he's the captain. He goes straight back in. The others who I think have also not been great are their forwards. I think their forwards haven't really gotten the roll on over the last few weeks without Moses there. If we can defend like we have been, we can nullify their props
I think
quite considerably.
as long as you aren't complacent.
Oh, we can't be. We just can't be complacent.
I'll have you guys winning this because your defense is a bit scrambled. Great.
I reckon we'll win this 30 to 18.
I hope your forwards. I mean, as long as your forwards stand up, they've got a big forward pack.
They do.
but your forward pack's very mobile. Still trying to work out that formula.
And
Anyways,
you look at our second row, for example, Jacob Preston, Damon Salmon, you'll get a good 70, 80 tackles out of them a game, right? They'll tackle everything that moves. They'll run for 120 metres. They'll score a couple of tries.
Yep.
And Kurt Mann there, he's such a good sort of lock. But even Bailey Hayward's coming in, and the type of work that he's doing on the ball and off the ball is just remarkable. That's what I have so much confidence in this team now, is that because against the Knights I was like, I called 13 plus, but I don't know. But then you come out and
didn't we both say 13 plus?
We did.
Yeah.
But deep down I was like, look, this is a test for us, because at times I think I'm just waiting for the Dogs to sort of start showing the fatigue, start showing that they're tired. But their fitness is just, it's so great. It just looks like their fitness is never ending. And that for me is so great. I'm sort of not as worried coming into this game. I mean, we could potentially lose this because Moses will be out to prove himself.
Obviously every game's winnable, at the same time also losable.
Every game is
the way the Dogs are playing, you definitely have them deserved favourites. I know they got a few injuries. I think the issue here with the Dogs, the only thing is complacency. So they better not rest on their laurels.
I think we
Get
can
a nice, comfortable win.
I actually think that if we go out there and grind out the first 40 minutes,
You'll get them in the
score
second.
a lot of
I
points
think
in
you
the
guys will
second.
get them. I just hope those two forwards I named, if they have a big game, you will be well on your way to a victory.
Look, I honestly thought he would have maybe brought Poasa Famasuli onto the bench as well, alongside Lipoi Hopoi, just to give us a bit of added size.
You can always mix it up. So early days.
It could. I mean, it could happen. But I'm actually quite confident with the bench that we've got. I think Curtis Moran will do a great job. Josh Curran is incredible. I think Hopboy will have another good game. He will want to prove himself again. Getting 2 games in a row. So it's one of those things where it just depends on how we play in the first 10 minutes. And honestly, I believe that if our defense stacks up and we don't give away 2 free tries like we did to the
Yep.
Raiders, I think we win. And I'm not nervous about that at all.
I just think, they had so many loose balls against Canberra. I don't know what was happening.
Yeah,
It was one of those complacent.
Yeah, it was
games.
just one of those
Had
games.
to happen.
Yeah. Now,
Can't win them all, but yeah. Expected them to
danger
win.
man for the Dogs. I think the danger man for the Dogs is, believe it or not, I think it's Toby Sexton. I think Toby Sexton is going to be the one. If he can get his kicking right, and keep Gutho from getting over the advantage line on his...
I reckon Birdo should put some skyscrapers up at their wingers. I think Bailey Simonson's out. So
Bailey Simonson is out for the rest of the season with an
he's on the
injury.
wing.
So it's going to be Sean Russell and Mike Acevo on each wing.
Kick it at Sevo.
Yeah, I reckon just bomb it up at Sevo, continue to target Sevo. Even Sean Russell's got a knock on in him. I don't think Sean Russell is
Of course,
the
yeah.
safest under the high ball. But if you target Blaze Talangi,
So Talangi and Will Penasini in the centres.
yeah, but if you target Blaze Talangi again and again and again and again, I reckon Crichton and Wilson can absolutely blow him apart. That's genuinely what I believe. Because I think that, he's a great player, but he's still young and has those defensive deficiencies. So I think that's where the game should be.
That Blaze Talangi pops up everywhere. How old is he? 18? 19?
I'm not sure how old he is. To be
Jeez,
honest.
what a
Quite
player
young.
already. Anyways.
So my predictions, I think we're going to win 30 to 18. We're going to win by 12.
Good shout. I hope he's get the win.
What do you reckon?
I like the call.
Yeah?
It'll be a good mood at Belmore again.
Yeah, oh man. Very, very excited. Now, very, very quickly, we just want to touch on Origin. Dylan Edwards is out. And we have Tedesco being parachuted into the fullback spot. Look, it's always excellent when you can bring someone in like Tedesco to replace your fullback. He was captain. He knows all the players. He knows the systems. And he's been playing quite well for the Roosters. So I think that's a great move. What do you reckon?
Yeah. Just run over Teddy. Yeah. You know what's incidentally, I'll laugh if Teddy gets me out of the match if they win.
It would be very interesting to see Teddy man of the
I
match.
reckon he's determined to get it.
He
I
would be quite
reckon, you know
determined to
what?
play well.
I'm going to go Teddy as man of the match.
That's a good shout.
Yeah, my dad's such a sore loser with that mentality. He goes, if I was Teddy, I'll tell him to get lost. I'm not playing for you guys because he didn't choose me from the start. I'm like, that
Teddy
doesn't
would
work
never
like
do
that.
Teddy will never do that.
It's on who they think is in form. Okay, the guys had the run of the mill for the last 7-8 years. Like,
And it's not like Maguire didn't keep him in the loop. Maguire was saying he's been in conversation with him the whole time. So that's one of those things, man.
Dad asking Teddy to abandon.
Yeah, look, he
Typical
won't.
old school.
For the Eels, I think honestly the danger man for us is either Will Penasini or Bryce Cartwright with the offloads. I think that's where we just need to be very, very careful. Other than that, I don't see too many issues with their pack. They're very big, but they're not as mobile as our pack, and I think we can run them ragged and then come away with it in the second half. That's where I think it's one for the Eels. But we were talking about Origin. Sorry, I think I've got early onset dementia. Origin, I think...
I'll let you go there.
Yeah.
I was like, I honestly thought somebody asked you a question. That's why.
Sorry, guys.
No, that's all good. I thought somebody asked you a question, but anyways.
The Blues, I think I'd still find it very, very concerning that we don't have a backup on the bench. I think that Burton should be on the bench. I don't know what the hell Madge is thinking. He said he's got a plan for every single scenario. I disagree. I think that Brad Fittler used to say the same thing and he didn't.
Well, it could be worse. Could be Cobbo on the bench.
I actually think Cobbo on the bench is a great move. He's a big boy. He can play He can play in the middle for 15, 20 minutes, even 10 minutes if need be. But he's got cover there for centre, wing, fullback.
Anyway,
No, I wouldn't. Ezra Mem can't cover all those other
you
positions.
play a back line. You can play hooker. Anyway,
But that's why I think Burton is so fantastic. I think if you have
he's a
Burton
utility
there,
here.
he'd be so great at the 14. But Maguire seems adamant. Maybe it is mind games. I don't know. But yeah, it's disappointing, and I'm worried about also Reeves Swapson at 9. That's where my problem is. If we get any injuries or any HIAs or any sin bins and things like that, it's it's very scary, especially with someone like Tedesco, as Brian Dibbs just mentioned, that Tedesco is very susceptible to concussion. He doesn't really recover well from head knocks. So if he was to go down with a concussion, our whole backline's thrown out of whack. And then, we're scrambling.
Who would you go at fullback if there's no Tedesco after, what happened to Dylan Edwards? Who's your next option? Tyrell Sloan?
Well, look, you could have brought anyone. You could have brought Drinkwater.
Drinkwater. Oh, yeah, you forgot about
You could have had Drinkwater. But if Teddy goes down early, as Brian Dibb is saying, like, we're screwed. Because who do you put there in the fullback? Do you put Crichton at fullback?
Definitely.
Who else can you put at fullback? Really?
Crichton.
Suaalii plays fullback as well. I think Suaalii can do a job. Lomax can do a job. But it's like, where do you who then goes into centre? Do you put Hudson Young at centre? Which is why, again, I say,
great shout.
having Burton
Crichton
on the
could
bench.
Angus Crichton could play in the centres too.
He can, but that throws out our defence. But we've got, I don't know, there's just so many different scenarios that Burton covers for me. I am a bit biased. He's the Doggies player, and I think he'll be great there.
It's a good shout. Nothing wrong with
He'll be great there. My call is, though, that what I think that Maguire's gone for is for absolute discipline in character and absolute discipline in defence. I think that he's trying to suffocate the Queenslanders out of being able to attack.
How much are you going? What's your shout on that game?
I want to say Blues by 6.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to go. I'll tell you what. It is going to be a tight game. These bloody Queenslanders, man. Like, you tip them to win this series, but because I'm New South Welshman, I have to be biased and say we're going to win. So I'll say New South Wales by 8.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be as bad as people are making. I think it's going to be an ambush.
Either we're not going to be as bad or we're going to be horrible.
Jamie Teasdale, look, Cobbo in the front row. It's not about him playing in the front row. It's just him taking a few hit ups in the middle and being useful. I mean, you could throw him. Really, he's a big boy. Like, he should be able to do anything, but it just comes down to he may not even play him if he doesn't need him.
I just want to go back to the game. I want to ask you, because are you concerned about Mitchell Moses this week at all?
A little bit, but I think we've got cover there. I think we're a much better team. And look, if you look at how we played against them in the first round, we actually didn't get blown off the park until maybe the last 10 minutes. And we're infinitely better team than we were in the first game.
You guys were just so error-riddled in that first game. You know what? That was your worst game until he's played Cameron. Incidentally, he's only just lost to Cameron.
Yeah, so, I think we're going to have their number. I just want to quickly answer. Tightline 66 has said Sexton is not contracted for next year. I can, in fact, confirm he is contracted for next year. Sexton will be at the Bulldogs in 2025, just to put it out there. So nice. Sexton will be, if he continues his form, I can guarantee you he will be the Bulldogs 7. Now, with that, we've been going for quite a while. I want to say thank you to everybody that stuck around. We have a very, very exciting guest coming on at the end of the week. That podcast will go up next week. Please look out for it. If you haven't yet liked it, please like the video and please subscribe to the podcast. It really, really helps us just get us up there in the algorithm. And the more subscribers, the more content you get. All these types of things. So thank you so much for sticking through with us. Really appreciate all your support. Go ahead and like us on Twitter, like us on Insta, like us on Facebook, and keep an eye out for that survey. I will be releasing that survey shortly after the game is finished. Once again, thank you so much. I hope you have a great weekend. Hope the Blues absolutely destroy the Maroons, and I hope the Eels lose. And I'm hoping that double E this week because they're versing the Bulldogs. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a great weekend.
And don't be Parramatta Eels.